Hey everybody, what's up? It's Michael Termini with the Game House, and today I'm joined by Concept at 2021 Scouting Grounds. So first things first, there's a little bit of Twitter controversy this morning when Tim ranked you 15th. Tim from Oracle's Elixir, who are not aware. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I saw that and I was like, huh, okay. I mean, like, I didn't really take much offense to it because it's just like, for whatever doubt I might have of myself, I don't think I'm like, 15 out of 15. And just from talking to other people, like, I don't really think that makes this it's a bit unusual too. So I just thought it was funny. I mean, it's just funny because it's like, I'm not just like lower on the list than I would expect. I'm just like dead last. And I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, I see. Like, but it's fine. The fuel that my haters, they fuel me. They
There you
fuel
go.
me to move forward. So it's chill.
Just another source of motivation for the event. Speaking of
Yeah.
motivation, not even really motivation based, but what do you think of the other top laners at this event? Do you think that there's some stiff competition, or are they free low all day, any day?
I'm interested in seeing overall, like, how the other top laners are. I mean, yeah, honestly, I haven't really played much against. I played against Dragoon a good bit in solo queue, so I have like a decent idea of him. But I haven't played much against Gamsu and PCL. They don't really play as much, and it's yeah, I mean, I think that all the top laners are pretty competitive. Obviously, I like to say that I think I'm the best overall, and I think that there's a lot more that I can improve on, and I hope that I can show that I can improve on it this upcoming week. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in seeing how all the top laners play and kind of trying to understand their different strengths and weaknesses as the week goes on.
It's funny is I just spoke to Gamsu and he said he was the best top laner at the event. What do you got to say to
Yeah,
that?
I'm actually really interested in seeing how he plays because he is definitely like like some of the other lists that I thought were like a bit more unbiased or like more realistic than the list that Tim had. Um, I thought like Gamsu has always been I think talked about a lot. So I think that a lot of the value he brings because it's like from laning against him, I wouldn't say he's like particularly insane or anything as far as like 1v1ing goes. And then his champ pool I think is also not like particularly crazy or anything. But I think that people definitely know what they're talking about, and I assume that he brings a lot of value to the team in other ways that I just don't. I currently don't because I don't really have much competitive experience. Gamsu used to be on 100 Thieves Next, and 100 Thieves is generally known for being very good with their player development. So I'm sure that
Very
he's
good.
he's learned a lot, and that I'm sure that there are a lot of things that he does that I just can't even comprehend. It's like one of those things where I need to like know what I'm looking for and like know what's good. And yeah, there's just like kind of it'll take some time before I learned that about the competitive game. But I'm interested in especially seeing how his strengths are when I don't think there's so much about like I think a lot of the hype around him is not about like his laning ability, but more about him overall as a team player.
Fair
Which
point.
is like what I want to do for myself. Like I want to be a good team player as a top laner because as much as you might know about 1v1s, like there's a lot that you have to do with the team that's really, really, really important.
Is that what you're trying to show off at this event in particular with all these, GMs, coaches, five head Reddit analyst in the chat?
Oh, of course. I mean, like obviously, like this is the event. This is I've been playing solo queue all year, trying to like with the intention of trying to help myself get noticed. Some people noticed me through solo queue and streaming, and obviously I did well in solo queue, so I was able to come to this event. But yeah, like I'm just trying to show that I have a lot of strengths right now as a player, and that I have even more potential because I feel like personally that there's just a lot about the competitive game that I still need to learn about and improve on. And I think that from what I have learned about so far, just in the past month or so, I have improved a lot and I have learned a lot about the game.
So I'll be honest, when I was looking at the list, I had no clue who you were. So I did a bit of Leaguepedia stalking, as I do. And I saw that you got a pentakill on Darius and lost that game. Would you mind telling the tale?
Yeah, okay. So that team, that was like the only amateur team I've had like an extended duration. I played with for an extended duration. Ultimately, I think I had like a falling out. I realized like I was always like in the mindset of cooperating with people because it's like I want to be a good teammate. I'm on the team. I want to be a good teammate. But it's ultimately I need to be in an environment where I feel like people can help me improve. And I realized eventually that wasn't the case. So basically, the issue there was my team had always played towards the bot side because when I originally joined the team, um, I was only a solo queue player and I did not know how to communicate with my team around playing around my lane. So I was like, okay, what I know how to do really well is I can absorb pressure very well, and I know my matchups well enough that if I am on the weak side, that I will always be able to do at least as well as you would expect, if not better.
Mm.
Unfortunately, as the year went on, teams kind of learned how to play around this, and my bot lane eventually there was also just some general roster issues. So like we were playing around bot lane.
Mm.
Let me just summarize it. We were playing around the bot lane was the team's plan. Um, except we kept losing. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Like we only lost. Like we lost like every game, and it was just like terrible. It was terrible for me, especially because I'm just like locking in Scion blind, and then having my team just get crushed every
Tank
game.
duty, let's go.
Yeah. So it's like, I even talked to my coach about it, and he's just like, yeah, I just feel like he gave his own reasons and whatnot, and that was that. So then in the middle of our last series, like the very last series, we had already like dropped out of like the main Riot tournaments, and then we were just playing in like UPL, which is like just for money. It's like a smaller tournament. And then halfway through the series, my team was like, "How about we try playing through top?" Like it was like a especially depressing defeat through the bot lane. Like they were very ahead, and they just like very depressing. And they're like, "Yeah, how about we play through top?" And I was like, "Huh, crazy that my team came to this conclusion, and I couldn't agree on this with the coach." And so what that led to is like we had no practice, and I was just like, "Sure, pick me Darius. It's good here. It's in the Poppy. They picked Poppy. I'm like, pick me Darius. It's good." And yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say that I could have carried that game. I did get that pentakill as you saw. Like it was
Mhm.
really good. Just around the dragon fight, like I was fed, and I mean, I didn't even do anything crazy. Just Ghost Darius, just pressing R with 5 stacks.
Outplayed
Um,
Mastery spam, right?
yeah, we ultimately lost because I believe they had like Jinx, Braum, Rise, and because I'm like the only player on the team that was strong. Like eventually in the 5v5, it was just like not possible for me to carry because if I'm the only player that is like really strong, like no one helps me get the reset, and then yeah, like I couldn't get a reset on Braum when Jinx is hitting me with 3 items. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the game.
Fair enough. So the format of Scouting Grounds has changed a bit this year. Obviously, it was supposed to be in person, all in the LA studio, and the draft and all that, but it's changed, and now it's all online. There's no draft. I want to know your thoughts on that as a player who's trying to use this as an opportunity to, I guess, network and get your name out there a bit more.
I think obviously being in person would make it easier to mentally stay focused in the event, and to also just help building with relationships. Just like biologically, it makes sense that people connect better in person than online. But it is what it is. I haven't really put a lot of thought into it because Riot decided in advance of the event that this is what they wanted to do, and that's pretty much that. It would have been nice to be able to meet in person and have the event in person, but ultimately, I'm ready for Scouting Grounds online as well.
Fair enough. As someone, in the amateur scene, what do you think of like the changes that has happened this year with Riot Games with the proving grounds, doing all these big events that academy teams and amateur teams are entering? Do you think it's causes like increased level of competition?
Oh, of course, of course. I think that compared to Europe, I talked to some European players actually a bit ago. There's like having this previously in NA, it was like there was the LCS and then there's Academy, and then there's just kind of like a big pool where there's not really much serious competition. So connecting like and in Europe, for example, there's the EU LCS that's the same as our LCS, and then they kind of have a system where it's kind of a mix between academy and amateur, kind of like what people are trying to do now in NA. I think
Mhm.
it's really good because I think just in the 1 year that they've tried it, you could see that yeah, like a lot of amateur teams can be formed that are actually competitive and can even beat the academy teams. So I think that it will it more closely like brings in good talent that is not necessarily recognized by the academy teams yet into the academy teams, for whatever reason that is the case. It just overall I think it's really helpful for scouting and just increasing the overall level of competition. I think just even with just 1 year, it's been clear that that it has helped a lot.
What do you think of when these players get opportunities to play in Academy or the LCS? Or take, for example, like Danny, right? He came
Hmm.
from Evil Genius's Prodigies and
Hmm.
then just went straight up into the LCS. Do you think players like that succeeding proves that there's this NA talent here and we're going to show it? And it like increases people's, I guess, trust or, care about the league.
Of course, I think that there are definitely people in NA. It's just that there's just because of the amount of time and energy that has to be invested into, making like a prospect into like a LCS ready player. It is just it's difficult, especially when there's not really a very good scouting system in NA, and there's not this kind of stuff has been improving a lot over the past few years. But Danny is one example, of course. EG has a pretty good system and has a very good system in place for scouting out and working on players, and they felt from EGP that he had displayed the skills that would be necessary to move on to LCS, and he obviously proved himself. And there's definitely other cases like that. He's not just like one in a million
Of
and the
course.
only person, but it's just a matter of being able the organizations being able to scout out these types of players and then give them the right kind of support and push them in the right direction to you know be like the NA talent that everyone always talks about as not being around. Um, so yeah. I definitely think that there is a lot of NA talent that will come up in the next few years.
So do you view this event as like the chance to get your name out there and like become the next NA talent? Do you want to be this player who people see came from amateur onto academy into the LCS? What does that route look like for you?
I wouldn't say that that's the way that I approach it in my mind. I think that's like kind of I mostly focus on like myself, my own perspective of what I can be doing in the near future to improve, and just to focus everything on that because I think that you need to be very dedicated in that sense. I think that thinking too much about being the best academy player, LCS player, whatever, like I believe that in the upcoming year, if I'm able to join an academy team, that I would have the potential to become one of, if not the best, academy top laners learning in that kind of environment. But that's not really like something that really comes to I don't really spend much time. It's not like my motivating factor or anything. I just love to play the game, and I've loved to improve and play the game seriously and professionally with other players that take it as seriously as I do. And I only really focus on just what's in front of me and what I can be doing right now to be a better and more well-rounded player.
All right, final question here, a little bit of a for fun one, but just so people can get to know you better. Who's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon. Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's a good question. Ooh, uh, I don't want to give like a legendary Pokemon because I used to play the game and I had a favorite legendary. So
I'll
let me.
just throw out both then. Let's hear your favorite legendary and your
My
favorite
favorite
normal.
legendary was Dialga. I played Pokemon Diamonds
Let's
and
go.
he was a beast. Obviously, like his typing and it was great, and yeah, he just wrecks everyone. Like he's lower level, but he still wrecks everyone because he's obviously good.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, as far as like normal Pokemon in the game, what do I like? Hmm. There's too many Pokemon. I can't give an answer right now.
Fair enough.
I'm just going through them in my head, and I know that this will
We'll
take
just
longer
count
than I
Dialga
have.
as
Yeah,
the answer.
Dialga is good.
All
I
right,
like
good enough.
Dialga a lot. He was
All
my
right, thank
favorite
you
when I
very
was a
much for
kid.
the interview, man. I appreciate the chance, and for everyone watching this, make sure to check out the GameHouse.com for more scouting grounds coverage, and hopefully see you in Academy next year.
Thank you,
All right,
Michael.